have a friend he's an old school racer and stuff, and he was telling me how green race cars are bad luck. And so we decided to paint the car green. And we wanted to give it a name that kind of reflected bad luck or like bad energy. So we came out with Bad Juju, and we thought it sounded cool. And we kind of played off the name a little bit. We put Lucky up here on the door because of the whole luck thing. We got a rabbit's foot on the keychain and all that to just kind of play around with the name a little bit. And my buddy Paul did the lettering on it. It looks great. And we put a guy kind of freaking out down here like he's got some bad stuff going on with him, you know. We just kind of threw some ideas around. This is my second year at the Holley Hot Rod Reunion. I think this is probably about the best event in the country for the nostalgia stuff. And last year I was here with a friend helping with his two nostalgia race cars, and I had this car at home. And so when I got back home, we started working on it real hard. I wanted to have something here of my own this year, and had this whole car around, and just busted tail getting it ready to get it here to the show this year. Right now I got an 850 double pumper that it's worked great. I had a different carburetor on there, and we just couldn't get it tuned right. And we had some issues with it. It's bad quality, and I just went back to what would be the period correct carburetor, which would be, you know, a Holley double pumper. They're legendary, and so we put 850 double pumper on there, and did 10 minutes of tuning to it. And the car, I got a real radical cam in it. The car works great. Didn't have to do a lot to it, and it really fits the vibe, the classic old gold Holley on there. It hasn't been on a dyno or anything. The heads came off another motor that had been dynoed. It probably makes maybe 550 at the flywheel, just guessing. I would guess it probably weighs 2,900, maybe 3,000. It's got some, you know, it's got fiberglass parts on it, and you know, all the stuff, the straight axle front end and everything makes it a lot lighter. Aluminum heads and aluminum water pump and all that takes a lot off the big blocks and lightens them up quite a bit. We tried to make it pretty well period correct. There's a few little things on it that aren't quite correct, but we thought we got it pretty close. It's got a solid lifter, big block Chevy motor in it, like 13-to-1. It's got old Winter Snowflake aluminum heads, Super T10, 12 bolt. We tried to hunt down some period correct parts for it and make it match that vibe. I love magnesium wheels, so I got, in the rear I have real 60s torque thrust magnesium wheels, and you couldn't come up with any skinny ones for the front, so we did those up to make them look like magnesium, so I can come up with some real ones, which they're like hen's teeth, you know, kind of hard to come up with. What I did, I cut the front suspension off the car, and I hand-made everything on the front of the car, the frame rails and the motor mounts and all the spring mounts and all that. I used a 57 Chevy truck axle and drilled the holes in it so it looks cool, and I used a newer style steering box that I built to work backwards to run the drag links and tie rods and that kind of stuff. Speedway springs, quite a bit of hand fabrication to it. It took me several months to do it by the time we got done with all the fab work on it, but it turned out nice, and I wanted something really clean.